Hi, I'm Paul DeRienzo.
And I'm Miss John Marie Moose.
And welcome to Let Them Talk. Our guest, Kim Gibilisco, a dancer and choreographer, who's going to talk about something she's got planned for us, and we're happy to have you on our show. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Sure, yeah.
So the first thing I wanted to ask you about is just your background. I know you started as a professional dancer with Murray Lewis and Nikolai Dance Company.
That's right.
And then, but then did you study in college? Like, were you a dance major in college?
I was a BFA major at Mason Gross School of the Arts at Rutgers University, and I teach there now part-time.
That's so great.
Yeah, I love it.
And are there some of the same teachers there as when you were a student?
Yes, there are. So they mentored me as a student, and now they're mentoring me as a teacher.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, that's so lucky, right, to be able to go back to the same place where you studied.
Oh yeah, and to give back in a way that you really couldn't otherwise. To go back and share your experiences with people. I can't believe it's been 20 years since I went to college. You know,
Right.
oh my God, how did that happen?
That time flies thing is
Yeah,
true.
but you can really identify and help them work through some of the same problems or issues that maybe you were facing at the same
Sure,
time.
because you can remember 20 years ago.
Yeah, and when you're in the same space, it triggers you a lot more.
That's so great.
Kim, tell us a little bit about your upcoming program, where it's happening, when people could see you, how they can get information about what you do.
We're going to be performing at Joyce SoHo March 11th, 12th, and 13th at 8 p.m. And you can get tickets at joyce.org or go to my company website, kgdances.org.
Now we're going to play in a moment a clip, and could you explain what you'll be seeing, what we'll be seeing when we play this next clip?
Okay, we're going to look at the promo reel, and so the first piece is called Falling to Grace. That's a solo that I made in honor of my dance mentors, and it's meant to unveil what's happening inside a dancer's mind as she's preparing for a concert. And then the second piece is an excerpt from a work that I'll be showing at Joyce SoHo called Taken. I performed that with Nancy Andrews. And then the third piece you're going to see is Charged to the music of Gabrielle Roth in the Mirrors. And that's a quintet for the full company.
All right. Well, okay, great. We're going to go right to that now. Thank you.
Great.
Go ahead.
I have a question I want to ask automatically from watching that, because I also watched that on the internet before. And that's about the costumes in that piece where there's like sort of the red bottom of the thing. I love that. It really gives an amazing look to the dancing.
Yeah.
Now, who was the costume designer on that?
Those costumes were designed by Cheryl Yancey down in Virginia. I made that piece when I was a faculty member at Shenandoah Conservatory.
Oh, okay.
In
So
Virginia.
it goes back to that.
Yeah. So she made those costumes.
It's really clever, isn't it?
Yeah, we designed them so that when the dancers are standing together, they all have a different pattern, and then when they come together, they sort of fit
It all
together
works.
like a puzzle.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty amazing. The other costume I really loved that you had was in this piece called Deconstructing Joy. Is that the right title?
Yes, she made that costume as well.
Oh, did she? Okay, so I'm a
We
big
designed
fan
that
of
one
hers,
together also, yeah.
That's an amazing costume, and it's kind of flowy, but it still like goes straight down when you're not swirling, or it has a lot of life of its own, sort of.
It does, and it's meant to represent on the front side the ego, and then the back side, which is kind of shredded, the alter ego.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I really love that dance too.
Thank
So
you.
tell us a little bit about your influences in dance, not just from other dancers, but just in general, like other artists or other, who inspires you?
Well, my greatest influences are coming from my dance family and my dance father, who is Murray Lewis. And I had the pleasure of not only working and performing his work, but creating new work with him.
which is
that was
always
incredibly,
exciting.
yeah, it was just so informative, and it really helped me understand how you go about making dances that are sensitive and really removed from ego, that are not just about you showing people how great you
Look,
are.
I can do a split.
Yeah, but really go back to what the art form is about, which is the art of moving, and that's a Nikolai mantra, that dance is the art of motion, not emotion. So working with Murray was such a highlight in my career, and he's still a very, very dear person to me. I visit with him a lot.
That's
and
great.
Yeah, he's very special. And dancing Nick's work, I didn't have the opportunity to study with Nick because he passed before I came to the school, just a month before I arrived at the school.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but dancing that work is so magical, and it really makes you appreciate what it's like to be a team player, and there's so much improvisation in the work that you understand how to use it as a choreographic tool. So that's usually how I begin making my dances. I improvise myself, and I video a lot of it, and then I sort of work backwards from there. And Murray always danced his own choreography. He never sat in a chair and choreographed for us. So I use that technique a lot too. I always put it on my own body.
So you show you demonstrate to the other members what you want by actually dancing, rather than showing them a piece of paper that shows go from here to here to here to here.
Yeah, as much as I can. I mean, my dancers are amazing. They can do things that I can no
Right.
longer do.
They can sight read.
Yeah, they're very, very well trained, and they work so hard. I mean, I'm really blessed that I have an opportunity to work with them.
But they can achieve some serious height.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. They train
It's
hard.
impressive.
Tell me a little bit about the music you chose that we were listening to, and the music that you use. Is that
Those first two pieces I actually composed myself. So
how do you compose? Do you
I'm
compose?
not a musician.
I was going to ask you how you composed.
The first piece, the solo that you saw, I actually compiled a bunch of sounds by using like a GarageBand program on my PC. And so I put a little microphone in the studio to pick up different ambient sounds. And then I recorded myself imitating my dance mentors.
Oh, how interesting.
So that dance is a lot about what's going on inside your mind while you're training and preparing. And so then after I recorded those quotes, I just kind of played with the pitch so that I would sound male or female or with an accent and so on. And then the duet that you saw, I made the same way, but all of those sounds were made with my mouth. I didn't use
it's
any.
all vocalized.
Yeah, they're all vocals that I manipulated and engineered in GarageBand.
Wow, great! It's amazing what you can do now.
Well, it's
I just
sort
love
of,
it.
again, it goes back to my dance heritage, and
Sure.
you know, Nick owned one of the very first Moog synthesizers.
Oh, really?
So GarageBand is like a 21st century Moog
Version
synthesizer.
of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so it's, again, coming back to my roots that way.
Sure. So tell us a little bit about how you became a dancer. How did you decide to become? And for those people who might be watching who would like to know something like that, like how does a person become a dancer? Maybe
Did you
they're
dance from childhood, or
I did.
you did?
I
You
danced
had
from-
dance
You knew you
lessons
loved
when
it.
You were a little girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know right from the beginning this is what I love to do, this is what I want to do, or did that grow on you over time?
I knew that I loved to do it. It was a great outlet for me. I grew up in a very large family, so it was a great way for me to get attention.
To stand out a little.
Yeah. And then as I got older, I sort of fell in and out of love with it as a teenager because, your body's changing and things
You don't
become
know
more
what the hell you
interesting,
wanna
like your
do,
friends
right.
and your boyfriends. But then when I went to college and I started studying with Claudia Gittleman, who is a Nikolai teacher, and Paulette Sears, who still runs the program there, and Pat Mayer. And
Where
some
is that?
other-
Where did you go to college?
I went to Mason Gross School of the Arts at Rutgers University. So that's when I sort of fell in love with it again, because that faculty really mentored me, and they gave me a lot of confidence, and they really helped me pursue this.
The right teachers are so important in all different fields, aren't they? It's
Oh.
amazing how much it can shape your life and really
Yeah.
enhance it beyond
I hope
what
so.
you knew.
I always
Yeah.
tell my students that faculty is why I dance, because there were many moments my first year where I thought, I'm not going to be able to do this, I can't keep up. And they kept saying, you're going to do this. You're
Yeah,
going to
you
be
can do
fine.
it.
We're here for you. Just keep pursuing it. So
Sure.
I owe them a lot.
That's
I'm very
great.
grateful to them.
That's great. Now, what about the piece that's inspired by Rodin?
That piece will not be on this program,
Okay,
but you
but-
can see that on the website.
Yeah.
That piece is called Return, and I generally go to the museum, or I go see dance concerts, or I listen to music for inspiration. I usually turn to art to inspire me.
Well, tell us again. Let's reintroduce the program that we're talking about, and tell folks where they can find out more about what you're doing.
Okay. So we're doing an evening at Joyce SoHo, March 11th, 12th, and 13th at 8 p.m., and you can get tickets at joyce.org, or you can go to my website, which is kgdances.org.
Interesting. And that's what, the 11th of March, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Just a couple weeks away.
All right. How long have you been working on this?
I started
specific-
developing the new piece in August with one of my dancers.
It's all the way August till now, basically.
Yeah, well, I think it's important to plan ahead, because you never know what's going to happen.
Sure.
And then you're always
That way you're
prepared.
ready. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you're always ready.
Great. So tell us a little bit about how your creative process. How do you sort of wake up with eureka with an idea, or does it come more slowly, or do you work on it?
It depends. Right now in my creative process, I feel like dances come to me in two ways. They come from here, or they're already existing, and I kind of find them. And so this piece, Lens as a Compass, is very much coming from here, although it was really inspired by some work that I saw by Jean Miro at the MoMA last year. They had a really beautiful exhibit on the top floor there. And that's what gave me the idea to use the cameras, because he had this exhibit where he was using reflective surfaces to reveal the underbelly of his work. So places that you wouldn't see normally. And I thought, that's such a cool idea. I haven't seen that in dance before.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So you're saying performance is art. It's sort of like performance art. Is that relate to what you do at all? Because you spend so much time in MoMA speaking about museums and visual art and how that influences your dance. I find that interesting, from visual art to dance. How do you make that transition? Is that what's influencing you to a certain degree?
It is, and mostly the processes which people use to arrive at the product. So rather than just looking at art and saying, oh, that's so beautiful, I love it, I research the artist, and I try to find out, how did they get to this place? What was their artistic process? And then I do a little bit of that myself, and sometimes I move in a different vein.
Make it your own, but there's a suggestion there that inspires you.
Yeah, yeah. And I learn from being mentored by these artists as well, even though they're not working with me.
You don't have to know somebody to be mentored by them.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. If you can seek out what wisdom is in their work and have it influence you, it can be really amazing.
Want to play another one of your clips that we have?
Sure. Sounds
Okay.
great.
How about which, open rehearsal or?
Yeah, we can show that. That's
Sure.
some clips of the new work. This is an open rehearsal that we did at DTW a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's great.
So it's a little less formal. using
background.
one camera in that instance, and Tigger Benford was playing live.
I love the idea of live anything going on, just because it gives it that sort of edge that anything can happen, and it's in the moment. And I think that's really great to just have the nerve to do that, you know.
There's you uncover so much by letting that happen.
I think so too. I agree.
And you can do things that you haven't seen before. Like, that's so important to me. How can I do something that's going to push the art form forward, and keep doing something new and fresh that hasn't already been
thrill
seen?
the audience a little bit,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's what it's about, is people enjoying it
And thinking about it. It's important.
Okay.
Make them think. Yeah, that's the difference, between entertainment and making art.
Okay,
You want them
that's
to think.
interesting. It's always a good idea, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of a little respected skill at some point. It's always a good idea to think.
Absolutely.
Now, what about reading? Do you read? Are you interested in literature at all? Or?
I read, but I mostly listen to like music and see art. But yeah, I read. I wouldn't say that I'm like well versed on any great
Right, in
scholarly
particular,
materials.
What about dance writing? People who like write critiques of dance. What do you think about that?
I think it's valuable. I think anything that's going to get people to come in and see dance is really important, and anything that's going to like educate our public about what it is we do as artists is super important, because a lot of people read the newspaper but don't go to the theater. So
Exactly.
maybe one day they'll turn to the arts page and read a
And
dance
think,
review
wow,
and
that
say, maybe
sounds
I'll go.
interesting. Yeah, no, but it's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. People can be turned on to something in any method, you know. You
Mhm.
never know what comment or little blurb somebody reads that can change everything and develop an interest they didn't know they had, you know.
Exactly, yeah.
Is there public support for dance, public art support for dance, in the same way there is for other formats that are out there? I mean, do you have does the city, does the federal government, do they come up with grants? Do they come up with help for dancers in the same way they might come up with some of the other areas?
There are.
Are you happy with that? I mean, is it at a level that's commensurate?
There
you
could
think?
always be more. There could always be more. There's a lot of unfunded or
Right.
poorly funded dance companies.
Right. That's what we've talked to folks, and it's a struggle sometimes for people who are doing good work to get
do
the
a full
support.
season
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Takes a
it's
lot
very
to put that
expensive.
together. And also, dancers are all looking for work, so
Yeah.
you can't keep somebody on the line that could have a job somewhere else if you're not going to be able
Right.
to pay them to rehearse.
That's
or-
right. And
Stimulus for dancers. That's a good idea. I like
That's
that idea.
right,
We could
that's
run on that. Right.
Now, what do you think about how young people should be when they start to dance? I mean, do you think it's valuable to teach children, or?
well, I think it's valuable to teach children dance, music, theater,
Yeah.
painting, all that. But I have a dancer in the company now, Kyle Roston, who started just 9 years ago.
And he's an adult.
Yeah, I work with adults.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some people are blessed; they can pick it up in like 5 years and
Instead of
do it.
having a lifetime of training.
Yeah, I don't believe that you need to have a lifetime of training to be good at it. You need to have an open mind. You need to be a very hard worker. You need to be able to work well with people, and
there is an athletic aspect to it, like a parallel to sports, in the
Oh,
sense that your
absolutely.
body has to be in really good shape.
you're a professional athlete. Absolutely. I mean, you're not going to be on a Wheaties
Right.
box, but you are.
Right.
You are a professional
Well,
athlete.
Well, when we had Take here, he was a baseball player, former baseball player
Uh-huh.
in Japan, and I found that fascinating because he went from professional baseball to.
Sports to dance.
And
To
was
dance.
dance harder? Did he say?
I sort of asked him about that, and while it's getting, I have
His
to think.
choreography is really hard.
Yes.
It looks
Yeah,
difficult.
It
yeah.
is
He said
very
that. Yeah,
challenging.
it's very challenging, and definitely he was. It showed that he was from a young age a very athletic person, and
Yeah.
he could have gone in several different directions. He could have been a pitcher. He could have been a runner. I think he was a shortstop.
Uh-huh.
That's a tough one.
Baseball,
Yeah, he was a shortstop, so a lot of running around out there. And so that I thought was interesting, but it also illustrated the athleticism that's inherent in dance. I mean, as you can see when we were watching some of the videos.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lifestyle. I mean, you have to be You have to be training daily somehow. You have to be on a really particular diet when you're getting ready to come into season. You have to be sleeping well and taking care of your body in a very specific way so that it can work for you as an instrument.
Well, because movement, it's amazing how much your body can move that you don't think it could.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, because in day-to-day life, people don't really move that much. I mean, you walk or you sit or you stand up for a while, or but it's rare for somebody just in their daily life to like use their arms in a way that's not just sort of in their lap or typing or.
Right.
So I think it's interesting that there's all these movements possible if you study and learn this sort of vocabulary that's outside of the norm day-to-day movement that people do.
Yeah, and the more you study, the larger your vocabulary becomes, and
Right.
you begin to invent new words.
Now, I know that you also do Pilates, right?
Yes.
And so tell us about that. How does that relate to dance? And
Well, the Nikolai Lewis technique is really rooted in Pilates.
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Hanya Holm, who is sort of the grandmother of the technique, she studied with Joe Pilates.
What's Pilates? Just briefly, just so folks who might not know what that is. What is Pilates? What are Pilates?
It's a method of conditioning for your body.
Sure, and you see people are doing it. I see Pilates gyms or studios opening up all
It's
over the
really
place.
popular.
It has become
Yeah.
quite popular, yes.
Yeah, but it's been
Okay.
around since the end of World War II.
And it
Oh,
has to
sorry,
do
World
with-
War One.
With
Wow.
core strength,
Really?
right? With developing your core to be the strongest part of your body.
Well, that's one of the principles.
Okay.
That's one of the principles, and that's what's so hot about it, is everybody's wanting to
In the
have
fad
like
side.
yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, to get like the definition and all that
That's
stuff.
right. Yeah, that's the selling point of it.
Nice. Well, we have a minute left. Could you again inform the viewers when they can, if they wish to, see your dance company?
Yep, we're going to be at Joyce SoHo March 11th, 12th, and 13th at 8 p.m. You can get tickets at joyce.org or go to kgdances.org.
All right, great. Thank you very
so
much.
My
It's
pleasure.
been
Thank
such
you
an
for having me.
interesting show, yeah.
Yeah, right.
And I know your show's going to be fantastic, so we're going to get out there and see it.
Yeah, we encourage people to see Kim Gibilisco and her dance company, and it seems like it'll be an exciting time. Joni's turned me on to dance, and we've seen a number of shows in the last
Like
couple of
full-time
years, and
class.
it's quite exciting. It totally changed my mind and thinking towards dance. It's quite an interesting thing. So if you're athletic and you're into sports, definitely follow dance. It's very interesting.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.